Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com nightly wrap-up show. Hope everybody is doing well. I apologize for yesterday. There was a video that we were recording. I recorded my normal video. Unfortunately, accidentally, we put it and we uploaded it, especially on YouTube. On Twitter, it was put up a normal time. Unfortunately, we uploaded it on YouTube. It was set to private. So by the time it was set back to public, it was like a whole day late. So I apologize for that. Hopefully you guys will continue to monitor for real-time videos. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm a little tired. Guys, do me a favor. Take a second out. Click a like, share, subscribe, support the channel. Again, hopefully I can continue to help you guys out. So let's talk about it. Yesterday, obviously after the close, you had AMD come out, again, a redheaded stepchild. There was a lot of call buying ahead of AMD. Okay, a lot of call buying ahead of AMD because they figured, hey, maybe this is already all built into the stock. Nobody has any anticipations of expectations of what the stock has left to say. Well, let's just buy some calls. And the initial reaction was actually pretty good. AMD spiked at the bell. It went, it was up 6-7 points, whatever it was. And then you literally went outside, came back, and, AMD was back to AMD. Traded all the way down to like 106 and change. Again, we talked about it all the time. This is one of the very few names now that are trading in the tape. You kind of have to let the story play out. If you're an AMD shareholder and you've been in this thing for a long time, again, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. If you're doing it from the trading aspect, well, look at AMD, right? Look at AMD. If you're putting, in other words, if you're putting fresh capital behind the semiconductor idea, look at AMD. Now look at all the other semiconductors. Which one would you rather be invested in? That's it. Again, just you get this as a fine line of being pig-headed, loving the story, or just throwing good money after bad. So again, until AMD kind of, finds its footing and has a good quarter, a positive reaction to the good quarter, as you can see, are just drifting lower and lower and lower. Again, good job today, $6 off its lows, but again, doesn't really even matter. You had a really good quarter coming out of Google yesterday, but again, it was one of those scenarios that, hey, we had a good run, right? We had a good run. So it wasn't really a testament of a reaction of how crappy Google's quarter was. The quarter was actually very, very good. Well, the problem is, again, the earnings are so uncertain. That's the best way of saying it. They're so uncertain. We talk about it all the time. You can have the information literally in front of you. You can have the quarter's data right in front of you and still mess this up. Yesterday, Google beat on both top and the bottom, and still the stock down 15 points. It held the 50-day moving average. Again, now the 50-day becomes a very, very important level for Google in case there is more selling in its future. Again, is it possible this is a one-day outlier event? Sure, absolutely. This starts kind of crawling back higher. Sure, absolutely. But again, now at least we have a fine line in the sand below the 50-day moving average, if indeed it does lose that in the next couple of days. PLTR had an incredible quarter, continues its magic carpet ride. It was up about, 20-25% yesterday. Today, a little bit of profit taking. Guys, this thing was up 20 points plus. This thing was down $2 today on literally leaving less than half the volume. I think it needs a couple of days to kind of go sideways. I would love to get the opportunity, potentially get this thing on the rising 5-day moving average in the next few days. But again, good digestion, right? As somebody said in the webinar today, they're just basically refueling. They're just basically taking down the Gatorade, getting their legs back, and hopefully this thing starts another run up in the next several days. So very good, much rewarded res day for PLTR and its shareholders. Again, the AI story continues to be very, very strong. Semiconductors, right? Again, here's another perfect example of you can have an incredible quarter, right? An absolute incredible quarter, and you just don't know how the market is going to react. So let's talk about tonight, right? Let's talk about tonight. You had Qualcomm. Qualcomm had a great run up, really, really good run up. It was literally a day away of reclaiming back the 50 the linear regression line. They come out earnings. They destroyed their expectations. They beat their top line. They beat their bottom line. Everything is great. Everything is great. Everything is great until blah, blah, blah. It is not. Again, selling off just because, again, random. Earnings are random. So when you see somebody on social media hit an earnings bet, guys, everybody's guessing. Haven't you figured this out by now? Everybody's guessing. When a stock hits on earnings, that person's a genius. When they miss, well, I don't understand why it missed. They beat on the earth. They try to. It's a gamble. It's like you're getting a random NBA game today, and you say maybe I'll win, maybe I'll lose. That's what earnings are. You don't have to be sophisticated. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be a smart. You don't have to be a novice or experienced. You just have to have luck, right? A stock beats top and bottom line. Yes, sometimes it will go down. That's exactly what's happening today on Qualcomm. ARM, exactly the same thing. ARM had a monster run-up, monster 4-day run-up. Again, it turned out to be a scenario like Google. Too much, too fast. It was baked into the price. They destroyed their numbers. They really did. But again, it doesn't matter. Again, it's all random. It's all random events after earnings are announced. You have to take several things into consideration. Is the stock been on a magic carpet ride? Can it continue to go? The probability starts to shrink the further it keeps on going. Stocks that are dead in the water have a higher probability to have a big move up just because there's no expectations. That's exactly initially what happened with AMD yesterday. That's exactly what happened with Tesla. Remember, Tesla was just dead in the water for 3 weeks and had that big gap. But we'll get to Tesla in a second. I got some thoughts on that as well. But the point is, folks, as you go through this earnings season, again, if you're a gambler and you're taking these things into earnings, just have an understanding what you're doing, what you think you're doing it's just pure gambling. It really is. It's pure gambling. Sometimes you'll hit, sometimes you'll miss. But again, don't look at anybody for any guidance. What do you think is going to happen in the quarter? Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows. Again, you can have the information right in front of you. You can still mess it up. So it's very, very important to understand that. And here's the other side, right? Here's the other start. MSTR came out earnings as well. They missed on both. Right? They missed on both top and the bottom. The stock is literally doing nothing. It's flat after the close. So reaction, positive, negative, it's all about how good you are in your previous life. Let me tell you what's actually starting to look pretty good, okay? Semiconductors are holding fairly well. Avago had an absolutely great run, right? Absolutely great run, holding up very, very well. Nvidia, okay? Nvidia has held several levels in the last couple of days to reclaim the 5-day moving average. It stopped right at the 150-day moving average. By no stretch of the imagination is this stock out of the woods, right? No stretch of the imagination. As you can see here, we are still 10, 11 points below the 50-day moving average. But from a trading aspect, from a trading vehicle, the last 3 days have been very, very good. We've been catching some pretty good pivots going from supply to supply and demand to demand. I'm very curious to see tomorrow if we could get back above the 150-day moving average and start attacking this 10-day moving average. And obviously, if we can get back above last week's highs, again, that's far away. It's still 129. But if we can start getting back above 129, that's going to reclaim back a pretty big level. And then you have at least some sort of hope and prayer that you could get back to the 50-day moving average, which so far Nvidia has been holding up very, very well. Let me tell you a stock that could be very interesting. Could be very, very interesting for tomorrow. Okay. First of all, let's go through the pivots, and I'll give you guys some ideas for tomorrow. Again, Nvidia, really great pivot today. 121.20 was the 5-day moving average. First supply, 2150s, then 2235s, and then 123. 123 was the 200-day reclaim. So at first, it got rejected off the 200-day, then reclaimed and exploded into the close of 25. Again, that's exactly what we see here. You can see here 121.20, right? You see it? That's the 5-day supply. And it traded to 123, which is a 200-day supply, and reclaimed that, traded to 125, which is the 150-day EMA. This is where kind of all my levels are starting to play out. But again, I want to see what happens with it tomorrow. Tesla never got back above the 394 level. Snow never got back above 91. Starbucks never got above 1107. Here was a perfect example. When you guys hear me talk about in the videos, when a strong stock breaks out the next day, I look for stocks that are retesting, right? There's some profit taking. They're retesting rising 60-minute support. That's exactly what happened here with PLTR. Today, it traded all the way down to its 60-minute band. It bounced off the 140s, traded all the way up to like almost 104. Really, really good, really good bounce spot. The point is here on PLTR, it needs a rest. It needs a couple of days rest. Again, like I said when I started, I really want to see this thing kind of get back to the 5-day moving average so we could take the 5-day bounce. Would be wonderful. But I do believe it should have its earnings highs test in the next week or so in its future. Right? Looks for a really good move. AMD, again, not a big move down. AMD 107.16 pre-market lows, only went down like 70, 75 cents, nothing big. Tesla. We'll get to Tesla last. Robinhood broke out today. Robinhood 5350 rejected twice. A buyer came in for the 61 calls, nearly $250,000. Nice move on Robinhood. Again, Robinhood's not going to trade like a beta name, but it broke out. Here's the 2 times it held. 5350 got rejected twice, finally reclaimed it, closed at pretty much the highs of the day into the 5430. 61 call bar came in for next week's calls. And last but not least was Tesla. So Tesla got below 381.40. Why was that important? That was the previous day's range. It traded down to 376, right? And why is 376 important? If you look where the daily daily support was on the lower Bollinger Band, you see it? 75.70s, right? That's the low, right? Look at the lows of the day, 75.53. So it traded down to the lower Bollinger Band, okay? So that's not where the big deal is happening. Here's where I'm looking for Tesla, okay? Look, I know a lot of you guys love Tesla. You love it long. You love it's the greatest stock. Guys, nobody loves Tesla more than me. Nobody. Okay. I'm telling you right now, nobody loves Tesla more than me. The only thing is I don't fall in love with the company. I fall in love with the stock. And I fall in love with the stock, meaning I fall in love with the ranges, whether to the upside, to the downside. Guys, look how big this range is forming here. Okay. You see this range here? You see the January lows, right? You see the January lows. We're not that far away. Right? We're not that far away. And you can see here the 65-day EMA is crawling up in here. As you can see here, it's held the bottom range here now 3 times. Everybody see it? Here's once, here's twice, here's 3 times. Here's where I talk about being prepared for a macro trade, okay? If Tesla, and again, it's a big if, okay? But if Tesla starts confirming down the lows of January, there's a lot of room down, right? There's a lot of room down. Again, if you believe in the theory of stocks trade from supply to supply, well, then believe the theory that stocks trade from demand to demand. And we are below the 50-day moving average. We've been below the 50-day moving average for the last 3 days. Now, the question is, can it hold the January lows, right? That's the $1 million question. If it cannot hold the 50-day, if it cannot hold the January lows and starts getting below this blue line, which is a 65 EMA, well, look where your next supplies and the demand zone is, right? So you can see, right? You can see how much potential there is in this setup if it gets there. If you're a long-term investor on Tesla, you'll be fine, right? You'll be fine. Maybe. You'll be fine, right? You'll be fine with the robots, with this and that. You'll be fine, right? From the trading aspect of it, this is definitely on my radar for the next couple of days. Again, we don't know if it's going to confirm, but bet your pretty little tushy I will be prepared for it. And if it does confirm, I will be in with both hands, both legs, and both ears, trying to keep it PG. So we're definitely watching. We're definitely watching Tesla for the next couple of days. Let me see what else I want to talk about. I think that's it. I think we've covered what we needed to cover today. Let me see if there's any other ideas I can give you guys for the next couple of days. I like Snow. I know Snow had an inside day today. Snow had an inside day today, broke out yesterday, hit its upper Bollinger Band. We had a nice pivot on Snow yesterday. Keep an eye on Snow for the next couple of days if it starts reclaiming back yesterday's channel. That looks good. And look at ASTS, right? Look at ASTS as well. ASTS is now above the 50-day moving average. I believe it had a really, really big run, excuse me, in 2024. So look at ASTS. For all you guys who are trading non-beta, keep an eye on this thing. This thing's now above the 50-day moving average, and now it's above the 100-day EMA. If this thing can just confirm this whole channel here that started all the way back to December, you might get a pretty big move. So keep an eye on that as well. So that's it, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. If you are interested in pivots and you're kind of like in your developing stages of your career, I promise you nobody else trades in this matter probably on the whole planet, with the exception of us, maybe 3 or 4 other guys that I know. But other than that, it is pretty cool. Again, is it for everybody? Probably not, right? Probably not. But if you are an active intraday trader and you do trade ranges, this could be a really cool fit. Guys, have a great night, everybody. God bless. And hopefully I'll see you guys all in the field tomorrow. Take care.